Hey family, once again, we get paid to read these books. We're reading Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. We're in chapter 13, and he's teaching about being creative, learning how to be creative in a crisis or a high-pressure situation. And over in 13, he's saying teaching us how to perform in a potentially challenging situation. He says, starts with practice, which, if you think about, you've heard practice makes perfect plenty of times, and you're going to play like you practice. I grew up playing basketball, so, we practice and, to prepare for the game and all that stuff. I mean, that's basic, common sense. Now, but what he's saying in this case as relates to business, that you should practice without pressure. The advantages of practicing without pressure. I translate that to our industry in financial services, in life insurance, is starting part-time. I've got a saying, I don't know where I heard it before, years ago. The hardest time to get a sale is when you need a sale. So if you're living on commission and you don't have a plan, a strategy, an activity, a system, and you don't have an overflow of prospects to deal with, and you on commission, you talking about high pressure situation. You want to avoid that by having an abundance of opportunities. Had a law of increasing return working for you. Like you can't just have one prospect or have a random prospecting strategy. You have to have a strategy to overbook, overkill, so to speak. Now let's get into the book. So he's talking about what happens when you have not practiced without pressure, and you are forced to try to execute with too much pressure. He called it if the motivation is not too intense, if there is not too much of a crisis present in the learning situation, the maps or how we can figure out stuff are broad and general. But if you are over-motivated, the cognitive map, like how you're trying to figure out how to solve the problem, is narrow and restricted. 3 things happen when you have over-motivated, overstimulated, too much pressure too soon, and you really haven't mastered the basic fundamentals. Number 1, you just learn one way of solving a problem. And once you learn that one way, it makes it so difficult to change. He used an example like if you learn how to swim when you're about to drown, you can never actually become a great swimmer because you didn't learn all this bad form when it was ingrained in an emergency situation. Number 2, he says, when you in another situation where you need to perform, you become first frustrated and fail to discern alternative routes or detours. Meaning it may even be a better way to do something that's obvious. But because you have this baggage, so to speak, from this negative situation, that it's hard to shed that to even see the obvious alternative route. And number 3, I love, this is my favorite one. He says when you develop a singular, cut and dry, preconceived singular response, meaning you think it's only one way to do it. You're not open. Whatever pressure happened for you to learn how to do something the wrong way or not the best way, he says we tend to lose the ability to react spontaneously to a new situation. We cannot improvise. Ooh-wee. That is so good. That is crazy because improvise that's all we do is improvise. In training, is always A, B, C, D, E, F, G, score. But in reality, when you're interacting with your customers, your clients, your team, it's going to be A, B, jump over to F, come back to D, jump over to K, then go back to I, and then figure out a way to get to Z and score. It's always improvising. People are people. They're not machines. You got to be able to have conversations that's not follow the same track every time. Oh my God, I love that. So he said, practicing without pressure so you can learn how to do things the right way. When you practice with too much pressure, or you're forced to try to perform with too much pressure, you learn one way to solve a problem, which may not be the best way. It's almost impossible to change. You learn a bad habit gets ingrained. Number 2, you become frustrated and fail to discern alternative routes or detours. Obvious other ways are there, but you can't see them because you are stuck doing something the other way. And number 3, my favorite, we lose the ability to react spontaneously in a new situation, and we cannot improvise. Oh my God, don't you just love reading these books? How can you not? This guy is giving us the thoughts, the energy to be able to perform at a high level. Love this stuff. We'll run this play again tomorrow.